Bernard Hopkins' journey is nothing short of extraordinary, a tale of redemption, perseverance, and triumph. Born in Philadelphia to Bernard Hopkins Sr. and Shirley, he grew up in the tough Raymond Rosen housing projects. Despite his early promise in boxing, winning the Philadelphia Junior Golden Gloves at just 9 years old with an amateur record of 95-4, Hopkins fell into a life of crime. By 13, he was mugging people and had already survived 3 stabbings. At 17, his life took a dark turn when he was sentenced to 18 years in Graterford Prison for 9 felonies. Inside the prison walls, Hopkins faced violence firsthand, witnessing an inmate's murder over a pack of cigarettes. But instead of losing himself in despair, he rediscovered his passion for boxing. Determined to turn his life around, Hopkins made a vow to himself and his prison warden: "I ain't ever coming back here." True to his word, after serving nearly 5 years, he was released in 1988 and embraced boxing as his escape. Along with converting to Islam, Hopkins found a new discipline and sense of purpose that would guide him for the rest of his career. Hopkins went on to become one of the greatest boxers of all time, holding world championships in 2 weight classes over an impressive 28-year career. He first claimed the IBF middleweight title in 1995, defending it 20 times, and later unified the division in 2001 by defeating Felix Trinidad. His victory over Oscar de la Hoya in 2004 made him the first man to hold titles from all 4 major boxing organizations simultaneously, cementing his place in history. At 41, Hopkins made another remarkable leap, winning the light heavyweight championship and breaking George Foreman's record as the oldest boxer to claim a world title. Amazingly, Hopkins would go on to break his own record twice, capturing more titles at ages 48 and 49. Known as the Executioner and later the Alien, he was famous for his strategic defensive style, which allowed him to compete successfully into his late 40s. Hopkins' legacy extends beyond the ring, as he became a minority partner with Golden Boy Promotions, using his knowledge and experience to continue contributing to the sport. His story is not just about boxing, it's about resilience, transformation, and the power of determination. Bernard Hopkins' journey from the streets of Philadelphia to becoming a boxing legend proves that no matter where you start, greatness is always within reach. During his prime, he stood at an imposing 6 feet 1 inch and competed at a weight of 160 to 168 pounds, excelling in both the middleweight and light heavyweight divisions. His ability to dominate across these weight classes showcased his versatility and skill as a fighter. Beyond his success in the ring, Hopkins built an impressive financial portfolio, with his net worth estimated at around $40 million. This wealth stems not only from his legendary boxing career, but also from smart financial decisions and various business ventures after retirement, solidifying his status as both a boxing icon and a savvy businessman. About his personal life, Bernard Hopkins' personal journey is as remarkable as his storied boxing career. Married to Jeanette Hopkins since 1993, they share a daughter named Latrice. His early life was fraught with challenges, growing up in the Raymond Rosen housing project in Philadelphia and turning to crime, which led to a prison sentence. However, Hopkins transformed his life through boxing, rising to become one of the sport's most respected figures. Known for his resilience, strategic mind, and longevity in the ring, he has also been a vocal advocate on social issues beyond sports. His philanthropic efforts reflect his dedication to youth and education. He actively mentors young people from underprivileged backgrounds, often speaking at schools and community centers to share his story and inspire positive choices. He participates in charity events, including fundraisers for cancer research, and has been honored for his contributions to his hometown of Philadelphia, even receiving an honorary degree from Temple University. His commitment to giving back highlights his belief in hard work, education, and community support. About his professional career, Bernard Hopkins' professional career is one of the most extraordinary sagas in boxing, defined by his relentless pursuit of greatness, longevity, and an almost unparalleled ability to reinvent himself. His journey began inauspiciously with a loss in his professional debut on October 11, 1988, against Clinton Mitchell. This early setback could have derailed many fighters, but for Hopkins, it became the spark for a legendary career. After taking 16 months away from the sport to refocus, Hopkins returned with a vengeance, hungry to prove himself. Between 1990 and 1992, Hopkins went on a tear, racking up 21 consecutive victories and marking himself as a force in the middleweight division. His dominance caught the eye of boxing fans and insiders alike. It was clear that Hopkins was not just another fighter, but a rising star who combined skill with a work ethic that bordered on obsessive. In 1993, he had his first major title shot against Roy Jones Jr. for the vacant IBF middleweight belt. Although Hopkins lost a unanimous decision, this defeat only seemed to deepen his resolve. 2 years later, in 1995, he finally captured the IBF middleweight title by defeating Ecuador's Segundo Mercado in a rematch after their first bout ended in a draw. This victory marked the beginning of an era. Hopkins would hold on to that belt for over a decade, turning away challenger after challenger with ruthless efficiency. By 2000, he had established himself as the dominant force in the middleweight division, defending his IBF title 12 times against a series of worthy contenders, including Glenn Johnson, who would later become a light heavyweight champion, and Antoine Eccles, a heavy-handed knockout artist. But the best was yet to come. In 2001, Hopkins entered the middleweight tournament, a series of fights designed to unify the WBC, WBA, and IBF belts. In the semifinals, Hopkins outclassed WBC champion Keith Holmes with a unanimous decision. This set up a showdown with the undefeated Felix, Trinidad in Madison Square Garden. Trinidad, a Puerto Rican superstar, was heavily favored. But Hopkins, ever the tactician, delivered one of the finest performances of his career. Using his superior ring IQ and defensive prowess, he systematically dismantled Trinidad, culminating in a dramatic 12th round knockout. This victory made Hopkins the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. His reign as the undisputed champion was nothing short of legendary. He defended the title 6 more times, surpassing Carlos Monzon's middleweight record of 14 title defenses. Hopkins was now cemented as an all-time great. In 2004, at 39 years old, he added another chapter to his storied career by knocking out Oscar de la Hoya with a perfectly placed body shot in the 9th round, becoming the first boxer to unify all 4 major sanctioning body titles: WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO. Even as he entered his 40s, Hopkins remained at the top of his game. In 2005, he finally met his match in the young and hungry Jermaine Taylor, who narrowly defeated Hopkins twice by decision, ending his 10-year reign as middleweight champion. For most fighters, this would be the cue to retire, but he was no ordinary fighter. At 41, instead of walking away from the sport, he took on a new challenge, moving up to the light heavyweight division to face Antonio Tarver. The man who had famously knocked out Roy Jones Jr. Hopkins was a massive underdog, but once again, he defied expectations. In one of the finest performances of his career, Hopkins dominated Tarver over 12 rounds to win the IBO and the ring light heavyweight titles, proving that age was just a number. He continued to defy time over the next several years. In 2007, he defeated Winky Wright, another highly regarded fighter, and in 2008, at age 43, Hopkins delivered a masterclass in boxing by outpointing the undefeated Kelly Pavlik in a fight many believed Pavlik would win handily. Hopkins turned back the clock, completely neutralizing Pavlik's power and aggression. In 2011, at the age of 46, he made history once again by defeating Jean Pascal in a rematch for the WBC and the ring light heavyweight titles. With this win, he became the oldest man to ever win a world championship, breaking George Foreman's long-standing record. It seemed that Hopkins was unstoppable, a marvel of modern sports science and sheer willpower. Hopkins wasn't finished. At 49 years old, he unified the WBA Super and IBF Light Heavyweight titles by defeating Babet Shumanov in 2014, adding yet another layer to his legacy. He became the oldest boxer in history to unify world titles, setting records that may never be broken. However, even legends have to face their final curtain. In 2016, Hopkins stepped into the ring one last time at the age of 51 to face Joe Smith Jr., a heavy-hitting contender. In a dramatic finish, Hopkins was knocked out of the ring in the 8th round, marking the end of his illustrious career. Though his career ended in defeat, Hopkins' legacy as one of the greatest fighters of all time remains untarnished. His defensive genius, adaptability, and longevity made him a true marvel in the boxing world. About his house and cars, Bernard Hopkins resides in a stunning Delaware estate, often dubbed the Delaware Dream, a home that perfectly mirrors his achievements and refined taste. The property boasts luxurious amenities and distinct architectural features, making it a standout among high-end residences. His penchant for luxury extends to his impressive car collection, which includes prestigious vehicles like the Rolls-Royce Phantom and Bentley Continental GT. These cars not only reflect his love for sophistication, but also underscore his status as both a boxing icon and a successful entrepreneur. His journey from a prison inmate to one of the most decorated champions in the sport serves as an enduring testament to the power of discipline, intelligence, and perseverance in achieving greatness. In a career that spanned nearly 3 decades, Hopkins defied the odds again and again, leaving a lasting imprint on boxing history that will inspire future generations. Thank you for tuning in. If you're hungry for more exhilarating boxing stories, dive into our biographies of icons like Mike Tyson and other legendary fighters. Don't forget to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for even more knockout content. Stay connected for more epic boxing tales that will keep you on the edge of your seat.